Like the current government, the past administration have sought support from foreign powers with so much hope from pledges of support, especially in tackling the Boko Haram menace. But results haven't been visible, leaving the insurgents to carry on with the bloodbath in the northern region of the country.
There were a lot of reasons why that sort of a thing happened, because most Americans believe that, in fact, Amnesty International has accused Nigeria of human rights abuse and all that, and that is why the United States does not want to hear, although they are the worst abusers of human rights. But because you needed something from them, they will put you through the paces that that's not what they are going to support. Eventually, there's a new administration, and we believe that they also realize that this fight in Nigeria about Boko Haram is not totally a Nigerian issue. Their investment in Nigeria is threatened. Their investment in the sub-region is threatened. So I think they've come about now to realize that they have to work hand in hand or hand in gloves with Nigeria to make sure that this environment is secure, and so that there is also the security of the investment in this area. Containing insurgency does not depend on time period. It will take a long time. But you can slowly but surely try as much as possible to use all the resources at your disposal to make sure that you deal with them in such a way. We missed the point when they were just mushrooming. We should have used what we call kinetic force to deal with them and obliterate them. Now we've allowed them to develop tentacles and spread to other places. So fighting them will take a very long time. I don't believe in fixed times and all that. I believe in work in progress. Slowly but surely, the Nigerian state will be able to exert itself and claim the territory that so-called occupied by these terrorist organizations.
You see the ties between Boko Haram and some of the Al-Qaeda in Mali and also globally. So it is the interest of the international community and of the big powers and us and our region to fight this scourge together. So I think because it has become an urgent global problem, the prospects are much better of getting help. And also, they are also making an assessment whether this president is serious and is committed and has a track record of honoring his promise, and I believe that that is the case.
While decorating the newly promoted security chiefs, the president gives a marching order that Boko Haram insurgency ends in 3 months. He challenges the chiefs to ensure that banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality phase out within this period. Since that order, there's been a renewed battle against the insurgents. Through the ground and aerial bombardments on the insurgents' hideouts, the military announced its successes in clearing more areas in the northeast of Boko Haram terrorists and the rescue of dozens of kidnapped women and children held captive by the insurgents.
I'm particularly impressed with the recent efforts of the Nigerian military and what I see the leadership trying to do. I mean, I see the chief of army many times in the war zone with the battalion and with the troops. And, you know, that definitely must be a morale booster for them. And a number of the successes that they have been publicizing give reason for us to be hopeful that perhaps the December date will happen. Now, if I also remember that the president stated we would not have won the battle against terrorism without the rescue of our Chibok girls, then it makes me know that we might be in for something very positive. Perhaps there are lessons that have been learned by government as a result of past failure in any kind of negotiation with a group as unpredictable as Boko Haram. If those lessons have been learned and the current administration has superior information compared to you and I as citizens, then I would expect that every thing that the government would do in this negotiation would be focused on results. Anything that does not attained result would be too painful for the entire nation. Not a situation where it would be that these savages have played the country again. We cannot afford to be played again by terrorists. So the most credible intelligence must be what drives every move that the government would make.
We cannot on our own contain Boko Haram. No country contains insurgency by itself. We will try as much as possible to work in concert with other groups, other societies, other organizations, other security conscious countries to work so that you can. Boko Haram is a globalized terrorist network. You know, when globalization came, people were talking about globalization in terms of economics and all that. The security aspect of it was not seen. And for these extreme Muslims, they thought that globalization was bad. But what they've done is to key into it, use the globalized society to also express their terror and terror tactics. So we believe that we cannot on our own be a global village. We have to work with other countries to make sure that Boko Haram, the trouble Nigeria faces, is dealt with in such a quick manner.
Remember that our last administration was denied some of the key armaments that it required for fighting insurgents. I believe that the recent visit of President Buhari to Washington will produce a result in terms of giving us access to some of those arms that were formerly denied to Nigeria. And again, I believe that given his accepted and known aversion to corruption, that it will be easier for countries to help us now with funds, knowing and believing that the funds would be better utilized.
President Buhari is yet to name his cabinet, but has made few appointments of key personnel. According to economic watchers, including the opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, the government may have put the economy on hold, a situation many Nigerians are beginning to groan about.
It becomes critical and is still lacking answer because we have not seen the plan for infrastructure. So fight against corruption is like fight against indiscipline, which must continue side by side with development. So we believe that Mr. President should, as a matter of fact, reactivate all the ongoing projects across the nation. The reactivation is to reactivate the employment of Nigerians. One thing is to give a job, another thing is to expect the multiplying effect, which includes employment and development. The target of every government is to develop a nation. Capital development, human development. And we are saying that the effort of government is not enough without infrastructure. And they must do that with immediate attention.
It's going to start doing all of that. But obviously, having me out of power was last head of state, 30 years ago. He's back, democratically elected president. I think you've seen him trying to master and get briefed on all the issues. He will next appoint his key advisors and ministers. And then I think you will be seeing more policy pronouncement, and including on economic blueprint.
He needs to move to these countries because these are the countries that matters. So it's not that because you are a president of Nigeria, you are not going to meet other people. He has to meet these countries. These people will give them the aid and support in carrying out most of the policies. If most of those Nigerians have siphoned money out to these countries, these are the countries that will bring out this money for us to use in Nigeria. So definitely, he has taken the right steps, and these steps are very, very important for the survival of the Nigerian nation. It's in terms of economic security, defense, material security, and also, environmental security. The environment we are is now a rough neighborhood, and that unless we are able to work in concert with other countries, especially France in the sub-region, it will be difficult for Nigeria to deal with this issue alone.
The president has come under criticisms for foreign trips so far made without proper economic plans in place, while the demand for insurgency to end continues.